Up next on Sappy Radio, 44.4 on your FM dial, a little J.B. Copeland. He's not licensed, but he's definitely listening. This is Sappy Hour.
Welcome to Sappy Hour, brought to you by Intelligent Change. Before we hop in, I want to talk to you a little bit more about Intelligent Change, okay? About a year and a half ago, Alex Icon, one of the co-founders of Intelligent Change, reached out to me and he was like, hey man, I want to do a journal with you. Some backstory here. Intelligent Change is like the god of journaling, okay? They created the 5-minute journal. They've created the Life Designer. They have a bunch of different products that are really, really cool that can help you in your life. And they wanted to create one with me. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do a journal. I kind of want to do something more artsy. And I was like, are y'all cool with that? And they were like, yeah, we're so cool with that. And so we started working on it about a year and a half ago, like I said. And the whole goal was, hey, let's create a coffee table book. Let's commission artists all over the world to take my quotes, my letters, all of these things that I've accumulated over this last year and a half, and let's make it something that can live in someone's house. It's literally an art piece. That's what the goal of this was. And so we're probably like 75% done with that project. But in the middle of it, about a year ago, we were like, hey, why don't we also release like a rough draft, something that's smaller, like a little pocket book of hope. And so that's what we did. It released a couple months ago. I'm really excited about it. So many people have ordered it. So many people are enjoying it. You guys are tagging me. I really, really appreciate it. And again, this is also a design piece. It's green and orange. It's two colors that I love. The inside is green and orange, and it's meant to be something that you can pick up and put down. It's not like this novel. It's the kind of book that I'd want to read. That's kind of how I create. I create by saying, what would I want? And then I create what I would want and what I would read. And hopefully there's people out there that are like me. And so, yeah, let me just read the back of this. Sappy Medium Rough Draft is your invitation to explore the space between numbness and overwhelm, where true healing begins. J.B. Copeland takes you on talking in third person. I take you on a heartfelt journey through the highs and lows of self-discovery, guiding you to a place where your emotions are not enemies, but companions on the road to wholeness. This book is for anyone learning to sit with their own complexity, the beauty, the chaos, the hope, and the heartbreak. If you've ever felt like you're living between extremes, Sappy Medium will remind you that your feelings are valid and that you're not alone in the search for the stability in the storm. That's the hope of the Sappy Medium Rough Draft, and that is out now. You can get it at the link in the description at Intelligent Change. If you use Sappy Hour 10, you can get 10% off. I'd love for you guys to check it out. This is part one of the whole collection that's coming out soon, which is going to be like the large actual coffee table book that will have all of the art in it, all that kind of stuff. Also, Intelligent Change has a ton of awesome stuff in there. If you need help with journaling, if you need journaling prompts, if you need dating cards, whatever you're looking for, Intelligent Change has it. And again, Sappy Hour 10 will get you 10% off on anything that you'd like. So yeah, I'm very excited about today. Someone called in and they left a voicemail, and it made me think. And I like voicemails that make me think, because they asked me something that I was like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that, but this is something that I speak on a lot. So let me read this. Sometimes the hardest breakups aren't the ones where someone betrayed you or treated you badly. They're the ones where the person was actually good. And that leaves you guilty. Good to you, good for you in a lot of ways, and yet something deep down still felt off. That's the tension of living life aligned. Today we're going to talk about alignment and being in alignment with your truest self, and how sometimes when you are becoming aligned, what's logical does not make sense to your gut. And you have to say goodbye to people, things, situations, jobs, whatever it is, to honor the truth within you. And it's not easy. And sometimes it makes you look like not a nice person. But that's just how it is. Today I want to unpack that, because there's a difference between good and aligned, a difference between comfort and truth. And the more aligned you become with yourself, the more that you'll see that not every good thing is your thing. And I know it seems mean to move away from things that are good for you, but if it's not your thing, then you're kind of just being possessive. We can't just take all good things if those good things are not your good thing. And so it's actually an act of selflessness. It's an act of honor to your future self. It's an act of honor to the alignment and what your gut is telling you, your intuition. And I'm sure that there are people that have gone through these things. For me, it's like this has happened with jobs. It's happened when I played sports. I knew that although that these things seemed good, and it's not like they were hurting me, although these things seemed good, they weren't in alignment with where I was going. They weren't in alignment where I was being led and being pulled. This episode is how to tell the difference and how to trust yourself enough to choose alignment even when it costs you your comfort. I'm so excited about this episode. Let's dive in to the voicemail.
Hey, JB. Love hearing your platform and vulnerability on your show, so just thank you for that. And yeah, I've been listening to your podcast for a little bit and feel like there might have been a topic that isn't addressed or hasn't been, or I haven't listened to, about kind of healing from leaving a relationship or someone that was actually really good. Because we talk about kind of leaving the toxic relationships, or, the people that didn't treat us right, or the people that, we just can't seem to shake because of that push and pull, or kind of an anxious avoidant trap. But, I think there isn't always as much emphasis on knowing when to leave a relationship that the person is really good and you really care about them and their life goals, but you're just like maybe not on the same page, whether that's in life or in your journey, and staying together feels more of like a disservice to both of you, whether you're ready for that next phase of life, to settle down, have a family, have kids, and they're just kind of still on the self-discovery and exploration, which is necessary to really find our person, right? Is we have to know ourselves. But I'm kind of healing from letting go of a person who was really good and treated me really well, but don't feel like we were aligned on certain things or in the same place, right? Geographically, it was long distance, and how to still know when you're choosing yourself and your values and what you want in life, over just kind of the comfort that a relationship can give you to feel chosen and to feel wanted and desired, that we all do. So thank you for listening, and I hope to hear from you on your podcast. Thanks.
Thank you so much for calling in. What a great question. What a great voicemail. And it can leave people a little bit stumped. And what we have to do in these situations, is we have to step back and we have to dive in internally. It comes down to, am I in alignment with myself, or am I out of alignment with myself? Is me 10 years down the road in alignment with me right now, or is me 10 years down the road not in alignment with me right now? And this comes down to trusting your intuition, trusting your gut, and getting to that place to where you can hear yourself. This question is asking, how do I know? How do I know when I'm choosing the right person? How do I know when I'm choosing comfort? How do I know when I'm choosing the right job? How do I know if I'm supposed to leave? All of those different things that all of us ask all the time. How do I know if this is for me? And the answer to that has nothing to do with that question, because that question is the fruit of the root. So we're not going to answer the question of the fruit, which is the fruit that comes from a life of being misaligned. We're going to answer the question for the root. Because what happens is, when you get into alignment with yourself, you start attracting things that are aligned to you. When you live a life out of alignment with your truest self, then you are attracting things that are out of alignment for you. And what happens is that when you're living out of alignment, you will attract good things, but there's something missing. There's that lack of alignment missing. There's that lack of vision missing. And it's a really hard place to get into. So if anyone is in this situation right now, when it comes to your job, when it comes to a person, when it comes to a situation, and you're feeling like, this is good, but something's missing. I think people might hear this and be like, well, you're not being content or you're not being grateful. And I think that there's a completely different argument here from being content and grateful. That's one thing. And the other argument is, am I actually just in alignment? Am I in alignment with myself? Am I at peace with myself? Am I content with myself? Am I content with my decisions because I'm living out of alignment? It's hard to be content when you're out of alignment. And I think that that's what a lot of people deal with is like, you hear, well, you need to be content. It's almost impossible to be content when you're not living a life that is in line with your truest purpose, with your truest mission, with your truest self. So again, if you're dealing with this right now, I'm not asking you to make any decisions. No decisions whatsoever, because these people, these things, these jobs actually might be in alignment with who you truly are, but you might not know it because you're not in alignment with yourself. Or these people, these things, these situations might not be in alignment with you, and you just don't know that because, again, internally you are not aligned. So we're not going to even worry about the external right now. We're not going to worry about the people. We're not going to worry about the situations. We're not going to worry about the jobs. We are going to worry about you. Okay? And we're going to talk about how to get into alignment. Because if you can get into alignment, things will become very, 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 very clear. You will have clarity like you haven't had before. And then from your place of alignment, you can then make decisions that affect your life, that affect other people, that affect your job, that affect the situations that you're in. But you don't want to be making decisions when you're not even aligned yet. You might think, hey, this person's not aligned with me. Hey, this person is good, but they're not for me. But how do you know that if deep down you're not aligned? It seems like the caller, and I want to give the caller some praise, it seems like they've already gone down this route a bit of becoming aligned with their truest self. And I'll leave that up to the caller to answer that for themselves. And so again, I want to be very, very clear. I'm not over here saying, hey, break up with them. Hey, leave your job. Hey. No. You have to do your own dirty work within before you give someone else your dirty work, if that makes sense. Like, let's leave these people out of it. Let's leave these situations out of it. Let's leave, our professions out of it until we are aligned and centered and not full of rush and anxiety, to where we can actually make honoring, loving decisions for ourselves while also honoring and loving the people that we might have invited in out of our misalignment, if that makes sense. We have to be, you want to be kind, and being kind is clear, and being kind is making sure that you have your shit in line and that you clean your side of the road before you're out making decisions that, could hurt someone and could hurt a situation. And you want to be in a place to where you feel very, very confident and very, very clear about what alignment with yourself looks like. Let me give you an example. I had a job right before I went to rehab. And that job entrusted me with a lot. There was a lot of people that I oversaw. There was a lot of people that counted on me. But at the time, I was not in alignment with myself. It was a good job. I was making okay money. It seemed like something that fit in that time of my life. Well, I went to rehab and I got truly in line with myself. I knew what I wanted. I knew the risks that were involved. I knew what I had to do. I knew all these things. But at the moment, after I left rehab and after I was aligned, I knew that I had to honor these people that had stood behind me while I went to rehab and didn't fire me and all this kind of stuff. Now, not every situation looks like this. What I'm talking about right now is how important it is to leave all of that on the table right now and just focus on yourself and get yourself aligned. Because what will happen is once you're aligned is you'll know how to handle the people, the situations, the things that are no longer for you. And so I got back. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to buy a camera. I wanted to start editing. I wanted to do what I'm doing now. And people thought I was crazy for it. And I didn't have anything set up. I didn't have any followers. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have nothing. I had nothing other than this job. And so I had to be respectful in knowing that I had accepted this job a couple years ago. Now jobs and situations might be a little bit different than relationships. You don't want to lead people on, but just hear me out. I got out of rehab and I stayed in my job for 6 more months. And I said, hey, I communicated. I was very communicative. And I said, hey, I'm going to give you 6 months for you guys to find a replacement, all that kind of stuff. And so again, that's what happened. I got out. I was aligned with myself. I started planning. I started working towards my goal. I knew what I wanted to do, but I stayed in that job and I communicated with them and let them know, hey, when March comes, Daddy's gone and y'all are going to have to find someone else to do this job. So you have 6 months. I can help train the person, all that kind of stuff. There's going to have to be some honor and some honor and respect when it comes to leaving situations that are no longer aligned with you. When it comes to people, it's a little bit different because you might be in a loving relationship with someone and you find alignment with yourself and you're saying, hey, life's sending me this way and you're going this way. And again, the most important part of this whole entire thing is you getting aligned first. Getting aligned and getting clear, which is what we're going to talk about. And then communicating in a respectful, aligned way to where you're not leaving a complete storm behind you. Because these are people that have been good to you. These are jobs that have been good to you. These are things that have been good to you. These are situations that have been good to you, but they did not fit. Don't make them go on this roller coaster with you. You deal with getting aligned yourself and getting clear yourself before communicating what you need to do. Because a lot of us don't even know what to do right now. Okay? So let's talk about the 6 steps to alignment. Okay. Number 1, stop forcing connections. Whether it be with people, with jobs, with things, we force ourselves to connect. And there isn't a connect. And so we have to stop doing that. There's a study by Jack Brehm's psychological reactance theory from 1966. The finding is that the harder we try and force or control someone's feelings and choices, the more resistance we create. This is why forcing connection actually creates pushback, not closeness. True alignment flows. Forcing is fear in disguise. Research on reactance, which is the reactance theory, shows the harder that we push to control outcomes, the more resistance we create in ourselves and others. If you have to convince yourself or them it was right, that is your sign. Are you convincing yourself? That's the whole part of stop forcing connections. A lot of times we're not forcing externally. Sometimes we are, but a lot of times we're forcing internally. Are you trying to convince yourself that this is right? And a lot of times we don't slow down enough to know that. And it comes to a feeling. Are you operating out of a place of fear or faith? What I'm saying is that this comes from a deeper place where your motivations live. You cannot find the answer here at the surface level. This all comes from a deeper place where we learn to connect with our motivations. Becoming aligned makes us get really, really, really in tune with what is motivating us to make decisions. It goes back to the concept of forcing versus flowing, lacking versus abundance, urgency versus confidence. What is your motivation for being with this person, for being at this job, for being in this place, for being in this situation? Is the motivation, when you feel it, does it feel icky? Or does it feel pure? The crazy thing is sometimes icky feels comfortable and pure feels scary. Does it feel like you're missing something? Does it feel like there's a voice deep within you that is pulling you elsewhere and you continue to silence that voice? Do you feel fear that you can get nothing better, that you need to settle here, that you have to be content, that you have to be grateful, even though there's something deeper in you saying, hey, there's something better for me. There's something different for me. This isn't for me. You have to get down to the motivation of what is controlling you. The way that you can get down to your motivation is asking yourself, what is the payoff here? When we're in it for the wrong reasons, these payoffs are hidden psychological rewards that keep us stuck even when we know that it's not right for us. So the payoff of familiarity is one of them. The brain is wired to prefer the known or the unknown. You stay with a partner who is good, but doesn't align with you because at least you know how this feels. At least it's familiar. There's a study by these people that I literally can't even pronounce their names called prospect theory. And this shows that people fear loss more than they value gain. We cling to the familiar to avoid uncertain change. Maybe the payoff in your situation, if your motivation is not right, is you don't want to experience the loss of something that might not be for you. You don't want to experience the loss of something familiar. I always like to say this, a lot of people stay stuck in a familiar hell, even if it's a good hell, even if the people are good, even if the place is good, even if you just know it's not for you, but you'd rather stay stuck in a familiar hell because you don't want to go and try and find an unfamiliar heaven. And these are things that you're going to have to start realizing when it comes to dealing with this alignment and getting aligned is like, what are the payoffs? What am I wanting? What is the motivation of why I'm here with this person? What is the motivation of why I'm here at this job? What is the motivation of all of it? And this will surface very deep answers, and it'll make you realize if you are internally forcing a situation. There's another payoff, the payoff of avoidance. Leaving means facing grief, rebuilding identity, or disappointing others. Staying delays those hard emotions. You don't quit the job that you know you're not aligned with because you'd rather put up with the stress of that than face the financial instability or the judgment of others. The payoff of avoidance lets you push off short-term pain, even though it prolongs long-term suffering. All of these payoffs that I'm talking about motivation-wise are falling into the category of fearful. You're fearful. That's what I'm trying to get to here. Urgency, fear, lack. Does the payoff of where you're at right now connect with fear, or does it connect with faith and hope and peace? And only you can answer that. Another payoff is, and we're going to get to this one here in a minute, but the payoff of role fulfillment. This is a good one. Many of us build our worth around roles: the caretaker, the achiever, the loyal partner, the dependable employee. Staying in misaligned situations reinforces that identity, even if it drains us. And this is going to be one that we talk about here in a second on another step. There's a study from 2003 that says we replay familiar roles to maintain a sense of safety, even if those roles are keeping us small. And that hidden payoff is you get to keep that story. I'm loyal. I'm hardworking, even if that costs you yourself. Another payoff, and I'm just giving you guys different options for payoffs here that are in misalignment with yourself. Another payoff is the numbing of deeper fear. Misaligned relationships or jobs distract us from scarier questions. Who am I without this? What if I fail at something new? Are you fearful? What is controlling me? What is the wind in my sails? What is the motivation of why I'm in this situation? What is the motivation of why I'm here in life at this moment? What all the decisions that I've made. This is why people are like, damn. All of these decisions I've made since I was a little kid have been reinforced from a place of fear and misalignment of who I really am. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not me. And this is really what happens when you're starting to get into alignment, because you're going to attract what's not for you if you are misaligned. And if you're operating from a place and motivation of fear. Familiarity is going to cost you growth. Avoidance is going to cost you freedom. Roles are going to cost you your authenticity. Numbing is going to cost you your potential. And so you have to get to the root of that. Stop forcing connections. Okay, I know that that's a lot. Okay, again, let's stay here. We're dealing with this internally right now. We're not worrying about anything else. What are your motivations? That is number one. Stop forcing connections. How do I know if I'm doing that? What are your motivations? What's the payoff? Why are you there? Who are you? Do you like your life? Are you happy? Is there something missing? Do you feel like you're aligned with your truest self? If you're not, you're most likely internally forcing connections with things that are out of alignment for you. And awareness in itself is a very great thing. With awareness needs to come action, but right now, let's just stick with awareness. Becoming aware of your motivations can actually help change a situation. Because when you start seeing and you become aware of what's controlling you, this fear that's controlling you, you can start making decisions that are different. You can start seeing things for how they are. You start to lose taste in the things that you thought were good. And you're able to then make confident decisions out of clarity based on understanding your motivation that sets you up to be in places with people and in situations and in jobs that do fit a pure motivation. So again, let's stick with the awareness right now. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm asking you just to become aware. And here's the thing. I don't have the answer of how to handle all this. You do. That's one thing that I really believe. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone's job situation is different. Everyone's personal relationship situations are different. Everyone's situations are different. And the clarity that you will gain from your alignment and becoming aware will give you the answers and the steps. Your gut will give you the answers and the steps of what you need to do to take the steps forward to live a life of alignment. From you're going from internal alignment and you're getting aligned. The awareness brings internal alignment and the actions bring external alignment. So I'm going to leave the actions and the external alignment to you. All I'm going to ask is that you do it in an honorable way and that you do it in a confident way. So become aware of your motivations. Stop forcing connections. If it's not for you, then stop forcing it. And the way that you know it's for you is based on your motivation. Number 2, and this is what I was just talking about, is let go of the roles that you've played to feel chosen. This is hard because it's a mask that we wear. And again, when you start with number 1 and you start seeing that your motivations are out of a place of fear, there's a 99.9% chance that you are living a life with a mask on to fulfill a role that makes you feel important. And it's not you feeling important to help you, it's you feeling important to please others. There's a study called Self-Concept Clarity from 1996. People with a clear and stable sense of self have higher self-esteem and healthier relationships. Playing roles for approval erodes clarity and creates dependence on external validation and people and jobs and things. If you have had to perform to feel chosen, you weren't chosen. Your role was. The role that you've played, the mask that you've worn. And so a lot of times when we live out of alignment, we're not even living as ourselves. We're living as a role that we've taken on to be chosen by someone. Again, the awareness of this is what is going to feel like a lightning bolt that hit your soul. Because you're like, oh my God, my motivations are not right. And I'm not even me. The reason I can talk on this is because I understand this. I understand this very, very deeply. A lot of times when we finally start gaining alignment and clarity and awareness in our lives, because awareness brings clarity, we realize the relationships we're in isn't actually built on who we are. Not only the relationships, but anything else external, the situations, our profession. It's built on the roles we played in the past. Maybe you were the caretaker, the peacemaker, the achiever, the one who made yourself smaller just to feel chosen. Is your wound inadequacy? Did you have to prove yourself? Did you have to perform as a kid? Did you have to, to feel seen, to feel chosen? You're living out of alignment. And I'm sorry, that's just how it is. If you're playing a role to feel chosen, you are out of alignment. No ifs, ands, and buts. Back then, those roles kept you connected. As a kid, they kept you connected in school, all that kind of stuff. Through college, through high school, all of it. They kept you connected in sports. But alignment requires truth. And truth will always reveal when a relationship is more about who you used to be than who you are becoming. We attract a fit for the role we have played. Once we get rid of those roles that we're playing, the peacemaker, the achiever, the kid that just wants approval, the mask, what we thought aligned does not align anymore. Again, we're bringing awareness to this. What is my motivation? Is it out of fear? Am I playing a role? Who am I? You're asking very deep questions to yourself that you haven't asked yourself because you've been trying to survive and feel connected and feel attached to something bigger than yourself. Whether it's the people, the places, when I played football, I was not myself. And I went to a very high level in football. I was on a D1, Division I scholarship at the University of North Carolina up until 2018. And I hated my life. But I was so confused because I was on scholarship. I had a chance of going to the league, all that kind of stuff. But I was not happy. I was overran by fear because I was living out of alignment with myself. The role was to be the kid that got the scholarships. I was a people pleaser. I was doing things, even though I was talented at it, I was doing things that did not fit me to please people that didn't know how to love me. And when I started finding alignment after rehab, I was like, I don't need any of these people. I don't need, them to tell me I'm good. I know what I want to do. I have the clarity. My motivations have been wrong, and I've been playing a role that is not me. And it's taking me to a place that's good, and I should be content right now. I'm getting paid. I have a job. Like, on the outside, this looks really good. Minus me going to rehab. But up until that time, things looked really good. And that's another thing. You're going to crumble if you stay living life with the mask on. God and the universe, or whatever you want to call it, I call it God, cares for you so much that he will make you crumble if you're not living in your purpose. You will crumble because you are misaligned with yourself and you're living with unpure motivations of fear to please, and because you don't want to get out of your comfort zone, and you're living life not as you. You're playing a role. And that type of stress on a person takes them to rock bottom. And that is what happened to me. My motivations were wrong, and I was not myself. and I had to do something to numb it. Give me the painkillers, please. Anything to help me not remember that I'm betraying myself right now. And here's the thing that sucks is a lot of times we do this and we're not aware of it, and it's subconscious. We're like, what is wrong with me? I've done everything I've been told. I've done everything I've been told. What happens when we realize the role that we've been playing and the motivations that we've had is, again, we become aware of it. And again, I'm going to put the ball in your hand and say, you have to bring this now awareness to action externally. And when you do, and I just want to give you something that's going to happen, okay? And it's something very good. I'm not cursing you or anything. But what's going to happen is you're going to bring this to action based off of what your own intuition and what your gut tells you or what your higher power tells you to do, because you now have awareness, and you now have, like, when you gain awareness, you also gain a stream of consciousness with something bigger. And that stream of consciousness could not communicate you when you were unaware. But when you are aware of your motivations and you are aware of the role that you're playing and you know that it's not you, the stream of consciousness starts pouring into your head, and it will tell you exactly what to do. And whatever that action is, whether it's leaving, whether it's the conversation, whether it's going out on your own, whatever it might be that you're supposed to do, a gap is created in your life. And you have to start making decisions that are in alignment with you. And a lot of them hurt, because although they might not be for you, they were good to you. And it's like now this consciousness and this awareness that you have has opened up a whole different world to you, and you know what you must do. And you have to make the decision that is presented to yourself and close doors and walk through doors that are setting you up for the unknown. And so what's happening here is you're going to have to learn to trust yourself. This is where self-trust comes into the picture. Because for so long, you've trusted everyone else. You've trusted the role that you played. You've trusted your motivations. You become aware, and now you have to trust this new stream of consciousness based off of this awareness that's telling you to do something else. This is what the caller's talking about. They were good, but they weren't aligned with me, and I had to go. And now a gap is created in your life. And the girl that called, she's like, I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting over this. And this part of this is for you, for the girl who called. Trust yourself. Trust this new stream of consciousness. Although it's unknown and you're leaving all this fear behind, your motivations are right, and you're no longer playing a role. Trust yourself. Trusting yourself is the most courageous thing that you can do, because a lot of times there's a path set out in front of you, living that role that you're in and continuing on with those motivations that were out of fear. There's a path. The road is paved. A lot of people stay on that road. You open that stream of consciousness and it's like, oh, all I see is pitch black. There's just a really dark forest. I don't know where I'm going. Walk. Go. You will attract externally once you start acting from that internal awareness. Once you stop betraying yourself with the role that you've been playing, once you stop betraying yourself with the motivations that you have. Walk. Trust yourself. Yes, a gap is going to be there. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. The only comfort I can give you in this situation is that the uncomfort is going to become the comfort. The uncomfort that you feel is the proof of the life that you've chose. The uncomfort that you feel is the proof of a life aligned. That's why people don't live aligned, because it's uncomfortable, because we live in a world that is controlled. You get in line, you do this is your role. You go here, you work here, you're with them, y'all are a good fit. Why are you questioning it? No. Live a life aligned. Scary. Yes, very scary. You're scared, but your motivation is not fear. That's how you know the difference. I'm comfortable, but my motivation is fear. Not good. I'm scared, but my motivation is pure. Good. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Why does this feel so intense? It feels intense when we're going this way. Our nervous system is wired for belonging. So when we step out of old dynamics, we interpret danger. That is dangerous. And so you're working against survival. And that's why trusting yourself is so hard, is because the comfort's pulling you back. The motivation of fear is pulling you back. Go that way. Trust yourself. What is the worst thing that can happen? Your motivations are pure. What is the worst thing that can happen? You're going to be a little scared for a little bit. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to be doubting, but your motivations are pure. That's the key. I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm going somewhat the right way. And this is how you build a relationship with yourself, is because as you walk, you have to continue to trust yourself. And then the path begins to clear. And then you start attracting and aligning with what's for you. It's a process that creates reliance on yourself and something bigger. It's a process that creates confidence within yourself. You have to walk the path least traveled. You have to walk the path less traveled, scared, with pure motivations, because that is how you build rapport with yourself. That is how you build confidence in yourself, because where you're going is going to take a lot of self-confidence. Where you're going is going to take a lot of self-trust. And you can never trust yourself, and you can never have confidence in yourself if you don't give yourself a chance. You're uncomfortable, but you're giving yourself a chance. Bingo. You're scared, but you're giving yourself a chance. Boom. Perfect. You're scared and you don't know where you're going, but you're giving yourself a chance. Good. What's the worst thing that can happen? This world is full of options. If you what's the worst thing that can happen? You might feel alone for a little bit, and you might feel misunderstood, but this is a time for you to get to know yourself. Okay. Number 3, don't rush what needs time to settle. Okay. We've talked about a lot. Now let's talk about this. We're on number 3, we have 6. In all of this process, there is the motivation of fear, and then there's the motivation of faith. I've learned this from my wife, okay? She's really, really helped me with this, because I'm a settler. Hey, looks good, let's do it. Do not settle for silver when you know that there is gold. Do not settle for misalignment when you know that there's alignment. Do not settle. Do not rush what needs time to settle. So when you bring this all to the forefront, you have this awareness. You are now being tested. I don't know what you're being tested by, but you're just being tested by the things that look shiny. And you have this new stream of consciousness. You have this new awareness. You know what is right. You are clear. And this path is going to take some time. It's going to take some time. You got to let it simmer. And on this path, there are going to be dreams. There are going to be things that remind you of the comfortable fear. And you're going to want to go back. You're going to want to go back because it's comfortable. When you're uncomfortable with uncertainty, it's easy to mistake urgency for clarity. But rushing into labels, commitments, and connection usually isn't about love. Rushing into new life decisions, rushing into new commitments, like I'm saying, rushing into new connections with people. It's not about love. It's about urgency and fear. You're trying to fill a void. There's a gap when you leave. There's a gap when you become aligned. Do not fill the void until you're ready, and you will know when you're ready. I can't tell. You might be ready in 2 weeks. You might be ready in 2 months. You might be ready in 2 years. You might be ready in 6 months. I don't know. Only you can answer that question. But you will know because you are now hearing yourself for the first time. And something might seem really, really good, but you know deep down that it's not right. And you're going to have to get really good at saying no. You're going to have to get really good at putting up boundaries. You're going to have to get really good at saying this. I don't know where I'm going, but I know which direction I'm going. You are not in the direction that I'm going. And things are going to look great. It's silver. But you know that there's a pot of gold. That's just how this works. Research on relationship-contingent self-esteem shows that when our worth depends on being chosen, we push things forward just to quiet the anxiety of waiting. True alignment does not need to be forced, like step 1. It reveals itself over time through consistency, reliability, and peace. If it's real, it won't collapse under patience. Patience is going to become your best friend because when you choose this route, you need no one but you. Let me say that again. When you choose this route, you need no one but you to give you the peace that you're looking for. And that is what this route is about. This is what self-alignment is about. Is you're going to be in some fearful situations, some scary situations, and they're going to be outside things. Some are for you. Some are going to be for you. And you're going to take them because they're going the direction that you're supposed to be. But there's going to be some that are not for you that look really, really good that you will try. Hopefully you won't, but you might try and rush into these situations. And here's the thing. You have to continually check your motivations on this route. Is the fear motivation coming up? And you're going to have some motivations of fear. You're going to have doubt. You're going to freak out. But are you letting it control you? Going down this path is saying, I'm going to keep my motivations in check, and I'm not going to rush what needs time to settle. Do not settle for silver when you know that there is gold. And here's the thing. If you do settle on this route, it's okay because you will be redirected right back onto your path because you're aware now and you'll know. And you might sit there for a couple months. There are no wrong decisions, but there are decisions that will elongate this process. And I'm saying, hey, I'm not asking for perfection, and you shouldn't be asking for perfection either. I'm asking you for you to listen. And if you hear yourself wrong, or if you're in a really hard spot and you do choose to settle, it's going to elongate the process. You'll still learn a lot in the process, but it's going to take a minute for you to say, oh, shit. Oh, yeah, no, I've done that. I did that twice on my road in the last 2-3 years. Twice. And it elongated things. I mean, I'm glad I went through it, but I'm just saying, hey, don't settle for silver when you know there's gold. I'm just trying to say that so that you know that these things will pop up and it will feel very comforting. You have to check your motivations at those times. True alignment doesn't need to be forced. It is revealed over time through consistency. Again, if it's real, it won't collapse under your patience. Be patient. The relationship, the job, be patient. It will not collapse. What is for you will be for you. You're not waiting in line. What is for you will be for you. It chooses you. You can be patient with all of the things. Because here's what happens is we think in this lane of, feeling comfortable in the motivation of fear, there aren't options. But when we get into the scary, we feel scared and we have pure motivations, there's going to be a shit ton of options as you walk. There's going to be a shit ton of options. And you're going to have to be patient and decisive and discerning on what is for you and what is not. Let's move on. with this, number 4, choose what feels right over what looks good. What looks good is social approval, external validation. What feels right is internal peace. All of this is coming down to, are you listening to yourself? Are you trusting yourself? This whole process of becoming aware internally and then beginning to take action based off of this awareness is all about learning you, trusting you, having your own back, being your biggest supporter, going through these hard and scary times because you're learning to trust yourself. It's a beautiful, beautiful process. And you're going to always have to choose what feels right over what looks good. I'm not saying, again, you're not going to be perfect. I'm not asking for perfection, and it's not going to ruin everything if you choose what looks good for a little bit, because you're aware and because you have a new level of consciousness, you're going to know when you made the wrong decision. And it's okay that you made the wrong decision. I want you to know that. Don't get down on yourself. We fuck up. It happens. I've done it. I still do it. It's how fast that you can come back from that fuck up. So there's a study called the self-determination theory from 1985. People who make intrinsic choices, which are authentic and value-based, based off of pure motivations, report higher well-being than those who make extrinsic choices, status and appearance. And those things are really good at luring you in. You want the status, you want the appearance. And like when you're walking down this road, and I'm not saying you're not going to have both. I'm not saying that there might not be an intrinsic choice that's authentic to you that also creates status and appearance. I don't think that that's something that can't happen. I think that comes from patience and waiting. What I'm saying is, don't make a choice based off extrinsic choices, which are strictly status and appearance, if it does not feel right and does not make you feel at peace. Your main goal over this whole scenario, over this whole walking your path, over this whole, all the awareness, all of it, is learning to listen to yourself. If one bit of it feels off after you've gained awareness, I probably wouldn't do it. But hey, I'm not you. You're you. And you can make that decision. And if it's not for you, it'll show itself. If you make the decision to do it and it's not for you, it'll show itself. And you're just going to have to leave again and have another hard conversation. And that's okay. That's okay. But if you're making decisions from intrinsic choices, authenticity, value-based, you're listening to yourself, you have pure motivations, things will begin to flow. Doors are going to open up. And it's just this, it's the authentic road. And the authentic road takes time. A good on paper thing, partner, job, might check boxes socially, but inner alignment comes from what feels right in your soul. Listen to your soul. Listen to yourself. If there is one thing that I could say out of all the videos I've ever made, all the podcasts I've done, I've done like 500 videos on Instagram. Listen to yourself. That's the whole point, is to put the power back in your hands. You know more about you and you know more about your future and your life than anyone else. No one can tell you anything. My job might be to wake you up and help you find some awareness, but I can't tell you what to do. You know better than me about you than I know about you. You have the answers. There's a quote. Let me 1 second. Let me figure this quote out real quick. I actually sent it to my friend. 1 second. Okay. Your own soul is your guru. Quiet the mind and listen to your higher self. That's Ram Dass. You are the guru that you're looking for, motherfucker. You are that person. And that is what this choice is. Even though right now you might be living in misalignment, you now have the awareness. When you choose and start acting like your own guru, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if there is no trust there yet, you got to give yourself a chance to trust yourself. And that is what this road is. And so follow your gut. Follow your soul. Listen to yourself. That is the most important thing. If you listen to yourself and follow your gut, it's going to take you to where you're supposed to be. And a lot of people say, well, I don't know how to listen to my gut. It's because they're not aware. In the beginning of this podcast, if you can gain that awareness of what you're doing, what your motivations are, and what role you're playing, and you are like, damn, and you're finally honest with yourself, you will gain awareness and you will finally start opening up that consciousness with your future self, your higher self, God, whatever you want to call it. And now you have a stream of communication between you and you, the real you. A lot of times we can't hear our gut. A lot of times we can't hear, our intuition because we're not aware that we're living a life that's not ours. So if you become aware, maybe you become aware that you are living a life that's yours. That's great. Just keep on listening to yourself. Or you're going to become aware that you're living a life that's not yours and that your motivations are wrong. And you got to start tuning into you. All of that, the only reason that awareness is there, the only reason that new stream of consciousness is there is because your only job now is to listen to yourself. Listen and do. And make sure that your motivations are pure. Keep yourself in check. Okay, that leads us to step 5. Okay, we have 2 more. Be okay with people not understanding your choices. Do you understand how many freaking people have been like, JB, what the hell? You dumbass. Dude, what are you doing, bro? You need to be implementing this, dude. You know how many DMs I get, hey man, your video, like, no, shut the hell up. I'm listening to me and no one's telling me what to do because I'm honoring me. And I'm not hurting anyone by honoring myself. I have communication. I'm honoring myself. I'm honoring those around me. You just don't like it that you can't hear you. You don't like it that I have so much confidence in me that it makes you feel uncomfortable. People that don't understand these choices are people that are unaware of the fact that their motivations are rooted in fear and that are unaware that they are in a role in their life as well. Consider the source. The people that will understand you are the ones that have gained that awareness, that understand the road. I understand you. I understand it. Leaving someone good or something good can not only confuse others, it can also confuse you. There's also going to be some internal confusion, okay? Confusion when following your gut for a higher good is a sign that you're making the right decision in some instances. Logic can sometimes just be fear in disguise. Not all the time, but again, we have to get down to the motivation within. What is the feeling that is controlling me? Is it fear or is it faith? When making a decision, in these instances, in what you're doing, fearful people and fearful parts of you will call this not logical. Don't listen to logic that is rooted in fear. Don't listen to people that have a motivation rooted in fear. You can't do it. Those are the people that aren't going to understand your choices. People often deny their own perceptions to avoid social disapproval as well as confusion. 75% of participants went along with the wrong group answer at least once. Don't go along with the wrong group answer because so many people, more than 75% of people, probably more like 99% of people, have the wrong answer. Their motivations are wrong. They want you to get they want you to get comfortable so that they can feel comfortable because their role is your caretaker. And they're codependent on you feeling comfortable. And it's messed up. And so you're going to have to get over the fact that people aren't going to understand because your awareness level is deeper than theirs now. And hopefully through what you do, you can raise their awareness. With my parents, I've raised theirs. My dad was not happy when I quit my job. My mom was freaking the fuck out. But now, seeing how my life has turned out, they're doing the same thing. And I'm really proud of them. And so you just kind of have to be the one that is misunderstood, but you don't have to be mean about it. You just don't have to listen. You have to say, look, I'm in a place in my life now where I have a new awareness about myself. And I have one life. I mean, I think we have one life, but I have this life right now. And I don't want to let it pass by. Without me giving myself a chance to take me to where I'm supposed to be. And for a long time, I've listened to everyone else and I played a role to please people. And I thought I was pleasing me, but I'm not. And I felt it. And so, hey, listen, will you just support me on this journey? If I'm wrong, I'll call you. If I'm wrong, but if I'm right, will you support me? You don't have to be a dick about it. They're just scared. Their motivation is fear, just like yours was. You don't have to be mean to them. They're not the villain in your story. They're just people that don't know how to care, but they do care. And so these are people that can still be a part of your life. These are people that love you, but just don't know how to show you love because they've never gone down this path. They don't have that awareness. They love you. My parents love me. And I love them back. And me making this decision, doesn't mean that I have to shut them out of my life. No, I'm going to communicate with them and tell them how I really feel. Maybe, some people are going to hear it, some people aren't, but it's not your job to be upset or defensive with them. It's just like, look, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to listen to me for once. And I'm going to see where this goes. And if I fuck up, I fuck up. And if I fail, I fail. But I think I'm really onto something. That's it. Don't get your feelings hurt by people not understanding this path, this new path. That's okay. Because one day they will understand. And one day they'll ask you how to do it. And they'll say, hey, I saw what you did with your life and it's been really cool to see. And it's just something different about you. Can you explain that to me? And you're going to sit down and say, hey, let's bring some awareness to the situation, kind of like what we're doing right now with this podcast. Love the people that don't understand you. Love them. Because one day, the love that you had for them in a place in your life when you were learning to trust yourself and it was hard, one day they're going to remember that. And they're going to want to learn how to trust themselves too. Okay. Number 6, protect your energy from what pulls you out of character. Alignment is magic. There is magic in you. That voice, that path, your soul. It's the magic that's going to bring everything to life because you're in this flow. You have to protect it. In 1998, there was a study done on ego depletion. Constantly draining environments deplete self-control, increasing stress and lowering capacity to act in alignment. Environments, people, situations that are not in alignment with your truest self are going to deplete you. And you might not know why. And in these moments now, you might not know why you're being depleted in this job, in this relationship, but it's because they're out of alignment with you. Are you depleted? It's a deep and spiritual depletion that you cannot explain. One that might not make sense, especially in a situation like this where you're with something or someone that is good. There is this feeling that something's not sitting right and you have to listen to it. Protecting your magic isn't selfish. It's how you preserve the resources to keep living aligned. And that depletion, all that is your magic going elsewhere when it needs to be going that way. For example, in number 5, I said, people aren't going to understand you. Don't give your magic to making them understand you. Just love them. Don't give them that energy. Don't give your magic to get people to please people. Don't give your magic trying to prove to people that you're doing the right thing. Your magic is yours. It's for your path. Let's end this. Alignment always costs comfort. Sometimes that cost looks like walking away from a good person or a good place or a good job or a good situation that just isn't yours. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you chose truth over convenience. Being alone for a season and having that gap is not a punishment. It's a preparation. Like I said, it's a place where you build confidence in yourself and learn to trust yourself. If you can trust that, then what's meant for you won't just feel good, it will feel right and it will last. The authentic road is built to last. What you find and what you build on the authentic road, being aligned with yourself, will last because you did it right and you did it scared. You are the one in control. Living aligned will attract aligned people. Living out of alignment and in a role will attract people that are out of alignment, and it will never feel right. The problem right now isn't the job, isn't the relationship or the situation. It's simply you living a life out of alignment with yourself. Bring awareness to the situation, figure out what your motivations are. Are you wearing a mask? Is this a role? Accept that awareness. And then listen. And then act in an honoring and loving way that sets you on your journey to learning to love and be aligned with yourself more and more, gaining that confidence. Treat people well. Love the people that don't understand you. Protect your energy. Don't settle for silver when you know that there is gold. I love you guys. I'll see you next week.
Past them